Hello everyone, Amy with Campbell Creations, and today we are using Bargain Bead Box August 2024 items to make a beautiful piece. I'm so excited, and I'm really excited that you're here with me for this. So the beads that we're going to be using from August 2024 are some of the leaf beads and some of these peach 8mm beads with our peach charm. So I wanted to pull these in. I thought these worked really well with our peach charm. It pulls in the kind of darks and lights that's within it. We're going to be using some of the super shimmer bicones, and I love them. They're going to pull this bling in. And then I also have some of the 5mm shell rounds, and I really like these. So these are the beads that we're going to be using. That white is going to pull out the pops in our other colors, and I really like that. So we'll be using the coreana chain that came in the box. Also some of the baby bead caps. We'll be using the crimp tubes, the clamshell connectors, and one of the stainless steel lobster claw clasps. And what I'm also pulling into this is some gold ball head pins, and then I have a little piece of this textured chain. This came in one of the past Bargain Bead boxes. You can use any chain that you have that's gold. This is the one I'm choosing for today. So what I'm wanting to do is this chain is going to be hanging from the necklace, and I want one of our little leaf guys hanging there with our peach at the bottom. And then our other colors and beads are going to be coming up and around. So this is going to be fun today. I'm excited about this. I couldn't wait to get this done. As soon as I was opening the box, I'm like, oh, falling leaves to the peach. So we'll be doing that. So let's get started here. What I'm wanting to do first is I want to make our bails that are going on our leaves. And so the box did come with bails. The box, those bails that came in the box are great. Not going to work for this. I also didn't want to use jump rings for this. That's an option. If you don't want to do the process that I'm using today, you can absolutely use jump rings for these, okay? But what I'm wanting to do is with our little ball head pins, I'm wanting to put a bicone on one, and I'm going to put it straight through the front. You see there's the back that's matte, the front that's decorative and kind of curved. I'm wanting to come right through there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this up so I have my thumb underneath this so I have just a little bit of room, and I'm going to bend this up. So what this is going to do, I'm going to pinch it closed. What this is going to do is create its own little bail. And I'll do a wrapped loop with this. So super cute, super easy, gives a little something else to that leaf. And then with that gold dot there, that little bead on top, I think that's going to look really nice. So let's get these going. So I'm going to have one hanging from the chain, and then I want two others on the necklace itself. So the ones that's on the necklace itself, I'm going to go ahead and wrap loop those. This one I'm going to hang tight on because I'm going to wrap that loop onto our chain. So again, I'm just grabbing one of these ball head pins. Going to put one of our bicones on it, go through the front, give myself just a little bit of a gap, and bend him up. And then I can just pinch him closed. And it's okay. He has a little bit too much going on. I got a little overexcited with that one, didn't I? We're going to straighten him out and do that again. And this will be just fine. So I'm going to give just a little bit of a gap. And I'm going to pull him all the way up. There we go. and that's what I'm looking for. Super cute. So we'll do the other one and then we'll wrap our loops. So we'll put bicone on, go through the front of our leaf, give just barely a little bit of a gap there, and then bend him up. Looks really nice. I like that. So then let's make 2 of these. We're going to go ahead and make these wrap loops, and then the third we will connect to that chain. So I'm going to come right about where that ball is, bend that back, swivel around, come back up and around. Give a good hold on him. And for these tiny, tiny pins, I do not use my fingers. They slip for me. So I'm going to wrap them. If I can grab a hold of him, there we go. So I'm going to wrap him around. 3 wraps. That little ball is a little complicated, but I think the biggest complication is I'm a little shaky this morning. Beautiful. So we'll get him flush cut as close as we can go there. Then we will tuck him in with his friends. And this, after we fix our little loop, is our little bail. That'll look really good on the coreana chain. So there's one. So let's knock out this other one. Right here at the ball. Come back. Rotate your wrist, come back up and around. Let's rotate again and swivel. Give that little kick back. And hold him as close as we can here. We'll just wrap him around 2. Boy, I'm a little shakier than I thought I was. I'm not scared of you guys, I promise. And I've only had a couple drinks of my morning Coke Zero. I don't do coffee very often anymore. But I could not stop thinking about the couple ideas I had for this necklace. Finish tucking him in here. It's just in that spot. There we go. So we have our bail. And then on this last one, we're going to connect it to our chain. So let's think of where we want to connect it to our chain. At the bottom of our chain is going to be our little peach guy, our little peach link. So if we're looking at the size here, I want him hanging just above that peach, and then I need also room to connect this to our coreana chain. So I'm thinking, based on the length, I'm going to go I'm going to go the 3rd link down with this. Actually, I'll go the 4th link down because I have a little bit more on top that I don't want to come up on top of. Let's see, let's look again. So for this length, this part here takes up 3 of them. So yeah, let's go 3. Let's go 3. And then he has a jump ring, so he'll hang down a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to make my loop. So I'm going to come back in here, kick that back, rotate, come around, rotate again, come the rest of the way around. Kick him back. At this point, I will open him ever so slightly. And I'm wanting to go 1, 2, 3. Just pull him through. Close this back up and then keep a good hold on him. We'll do a little wrapped loop. Be mindful of your chain. So there's 1. Mindful of the little ball. 2. And 3. So we'll cut him off as close as we can get him. There he went. Then we'll just tuck him right in. So now we are left with our chain and our little guy. Oh, you aren't seeing anything. So now we're left with our chain and our little guy, and our peach will hang off the bottom of this. Okay, so we'll set him. Actually, let's go ahead and put our peach on. You want to? Let's move this aside. Let's open him up. Slide him on our last link, or slide our last link onto him. Close him up really good. And maybe slip a little bit. Okay. So if we are acting like this is on the chain, we have our little leaf and our little peach. I wanted that leaf to hang over kind of on the top of the peach. That way some of that green would pop through, but it would also, you know, not be too much. I didn't want this guy hanging way below our leaf. Okay, so we're gonna set him aside for a second. And let's bring out our coreana chain. I love coreana chain. I love it. Bead right on it. You can do floating beads on it, and we are going to do some floating beads today. I think it goes this way. Yep, here's our front. And then here's our little leaf and our peach. Just adorable, just adorable. Now, what I'm wanting to do is I want a bicone on either side. You know, I like those kind of things. It's one kind of flush on either side. And these bicones I think will work perfect because they're going to pull in that pop and the pop of that bicone that's here. So we'll have a bicone on either side of him. Looks pretty. And then I don't want these leaves dangling directly on. I want them to be a little bit to the side. So let's try a couple things. First, I'm really thinking, well, let's peek at it, right? Let's just peek at it. If I had these here, it would be a cluster of them. So let's put these on, that way we see what it looks like, right? And who knows, this may go on here and we'll be like, oh, beautiful. Which I think it'll be beautiful either way, but is that the look I'm going for? I need a little bit more space. See how they're just grouped on top of each other? I want a little bit more space. So yep, we're gonna give them a little space. So we'll take these guys off for a second. Let's bring in a couple of our 5mm shell beads. And also the little other faceted pieces, what was that, hessonite, garnet, something like that, sorry. They do fit on this chain. So you can use coreana chain with them as well. They could be your little spacers instead of the bicones. Little 5mm guys. Okay, and let's do a bicone, and then we will put on our leaves, and let's see how those leaves look then. Okay. Come on, Amy. Come on. There you go. I don't want to do things backwards today. I don't think that would work out very well for any of us. So you see how they're a little bit spaced. Let's pick her up and see how those are going to lay. Let gravity tell you. And actually, yeah, I think I'm going to like those because they have that extra little wiggle, you know, that extra flow that goes with them. Yeah, I like those. So now let's do another one of our bicones, just to flank them. And I'm not wanting too much down here at the bottom, but I do want to pull in some of those colors. So then we will go with a shell bead. And then what I was thinking is I wanted to do a couple of these bead caps with one of our 8mm guys. And I want to see if that looks too big. If it looks too big, we'll work something else out. And these are just little bitty little guys. And I've already looked, they look really good on these white beads. They look really good on those little, those faceted gemstones. But I'm hoping it gives just like that little peak of gold, and it does, I see it. So there's our other one facing down. Our 8mm. And bead cap. looks nice. Okay, so I'm gonna do one little series on top of this of, I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm thinking I want to do another bicone. But we're gonna have a couple floaters too, so let's see. Let's move these aside, because I really just wanted something that kind of pulled in the bigger peach, so I didn't want too much of the big. So these guys down here. What do you think? So, I don't think I like these guys on here. I think I'm going to stay dainty with this all the way. I think I am. So, let's do this. I wanted those 8mm to kind of pull in the size of that peach, but it just doesn't seem right. So let's take them off. Again, I had this all in my head. I hadn't tested any of it out, but the beauty. Okay, so I'm going to put a bicone on top of the white ones. That leaves more of the peach 8mm because I really have a thought on that too. That's exciting. And then one more of these guys. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to have a floater. So let's go here. I like that. So then here's my thought on the floater. I wanted a bicone, white bead bicone to be a floater up here. But before I do that, I need to crimp these down so that they stay in place. I want these to stay down here where I want them to be. So here's what I'm going to do for that. I'm going to line up my coreana chain. So I'm going to see my ends here. I'm lining them up, making sure that they are pretty much even, and they are. I'm going to hold on to them, and I'm going to line these guys up to where they're centered, to where they're even on either side. And that lets me know I'm at my good starting point. So then I'm going to bring in a couple of my crimp tubes. I'm going to get them beaded down there. And then we're going to check our length again before we cinch anything. So I want these two ends to be even, so I'm going to bring him down a little bit. That way our two guys are even here at the end. I'm going to hold on to them, and I'm going to slide my fingers down, and then I moved it. Let's make sure they're even. I'm going to hold on to them good, slide these guys down, but I want to make sure they are even too, even on either side. So it looks like this one might need to come down just a tad. That way we know we're even throughout the entire necklace. Those are still even. Hold back onto those, come back down, and these are still even. Right? Looks kind of skewed in the viewfinder, but those do look even. And with coreana, take an extra second. It's all good. Just take an extra second, make sure you're where you want to be. So then now that that looks good, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hold this and I'm going to give just a little crimp, little squeeze, just a little squeeze. Come down here, slide up next to the bead, little squeeze. That is all it takes, guys. That is all it takes. This coreana chain with these size 1 crimps works really, really well. And these are just placeholders for you. So now you have everything where you want it to be down here. It's gonna stay. And let's put on just a little floater on either side. Okay, so let's get these back in here. And my floater, I'm wanting to come up just about maybe, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 inches and just have a little floater. My cut that I made for my coreana chain is 17 inches. I knew I was going to have a dangle and I didn't want it to be too long. So I also don't want to come up too high because I don't want those to be around my neck. So let me take a peek at that size this way as well by putting it on. So what I'm wanting to look at here is I'm closer to 1 inch above these that I want a floater. That way I don't have the floaters on the other side of my collarbone. Okay, so we're gonna get these guys even again. They're good. It's one of those things I always like verify and re-verify on coreana, because the thing is you can trim these before you finish everything out and make them even if they come off, but I'm still always wanting to make sure they're even. Okay, so we're gonna do one of our bicones, one of our shell beads, and a bicone. And we'll do that on each side, and then we'll get them set where we want them to be. So bicone, there's this whole shell bead, and bicone. My view is a little skewed here, guys. I apologize. Okay. So these guys are even. And what I'm wanting, and it doesn't have to be like perfect, but I want it to be pretty close. So if it's by eyeballing it, if it's looking like those are even, let's now do a quick little measurement. Yeah, 1.5 might be all right. So if we bring this guy to about the 1.5 mark. Oh, you know what I didn't do, you guys? I need a crimp on the bottom. How is it gonna float? Silly, silly Amy. It's all about the beads. So we are gonna put a crimp on the bottom and measure. That way we know our beads will be okay. I was thinking something's off. What's off? What am I missing here? Pretty important piece. Let me do this mess up, guys, and then whenever you do yours, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we were thinking, when I just looked at that, thinking about 1.5 inches, right? So let's bring these up just a little bit. And again, it doesn't have to be like just perfect, but pretty close. Let's come on the inside. So from the top of that crimp bead to this crimp bead, that looks about right. So I'm just gonna come in here, not let him move. Hold on. I'm gonna grab him, come to that 1.5 and give a little squeeze. So then on this one, come to the other side. Right at the top of that crimp that's below, right at the top of that. And I'm gonna come here Squeeze it 1.5 inches. And then as we're bringing these up, look about even. Is our edges even? Pretty good. So now we are going to put on our floaters. So we will do bicone, shell bead, bicone, there we go. And then we'll do the same on this side. I love these colors. I keep getting distracted by looking down at this necklace instead of at the hole I'm trying to put this coreana chain through. Okay, so we have those on there. Let's get another couple crimp tubes and we'll secure them up top. And when you see these little crimp pieces on there, there's nothing that's going to be covering them. Whenever you're looking at the necklace, whenever someone's looking at the necklace, they're not seeing those little bitty gold pieces. They're just little specks at the end. They're just fine. So this part's easy. We're just going to the other side, getting it up against that bead, giving it a little squish, coming up here against the bead. Oh, you guys can't see, can you? Let's scoot this down. How about we do that? And then maybe you can still see. Sorry about that. But I'm just coming down here and giving a little squeeze. Coming down here, giving a little squeeze. You see it's not much of a squeeze. I'm not doing too awful much to it, but it's a placeholder. It's going to hold them. And that's just beautiful. So then we come back up here and I'm going to go just make sure one last time before we close this up that these are even and our ends are even. Excellent. So here is where our clamshell connectors come in. And I'm going to be using my number 2 crimps because I like to use my number 2 crimps with the clamshells. It's just that extra security of the size of that crimp. Okay, so we will put on our clamshell connector. And we'll grab our crimp tube. Bring him up close to the tip top there. Give a good squeeze. Squeeze it all the way down. But you don't want to break your chain, right? So this is a whole lot bigger. This chain is a whole lot bigger than, there we go, than a tiger tail or a stringing wire. So it's going to really grab a hold of that. Okay, so we'll do the other side. So we'll put on our clamshell. And I'll use coreana chain for several of my projects for this box, just to show the different ways to use coreana chain. I have extra coreana chain, so I think that might help those that are new to coreana chain. Give them many options to fall in love with it. I just love it. Whale. Whale, he just popped right off there. And I love this color of my nail polish. Love it. I've been getting it several times now. When I go back, I get the same color. And is it not perfect with this box? I told you during the unboxing, my favorite colors, like two of my absolute favorite colors, I like so many colors, but two of my favorites are the peach orange colors with teal, and of course the teal colors, like the lighter teal, and I love them together. Love them. So surely we're gonna have to pull in some stuff from the stash and from other months' boxes because I won't be able to handle it. I'll have to put those two colors together. So I'm gonna get a couple jump rings. Oh, and it does look like this guy came with his own jump ring, but I'm gonna take that off. And I'll use my ovals on both sides. And that's just my choice, right? You do whatever you like to do with those. I haven't tested him. He's good. We'll hook him on. And our last part to this necklace. And then I need to clean up. Look at my mess I've got going on over there. Then we'll make our earrings. Very, very simple earrings. Okay, so let's get some of this picked up here. Let's get our little bead caps because they are just teeny tiny little guys. Don't want to see this finished piece with a bunch of beads laying all about. Okay, so we'll close this guy up. And here is our necklace. Oh, I love it. Just love it. Let's see how he wants to hang by himself because I keep seeing him flipping. No, he's all right. Okay. Love it. So for our earrings, I did make one. And here's what I'm looking for. Very simple. So it's one of our leaves hanging from the chain with this little wrapped loop, and this ball kind of follows up to the ear wire. Thought that was very pretty. I didn't want to overdo those. You know me in earrings, I don't like to overdo them, but I like that chain hanging. So on the chain, I had, let's look here, I believe 5, because if we have an odd number, it will hang forefront the way I'm wanting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And we're just going to hang him on that last loop. Oh, I put up all my bicones, didn't I? Did I not get out a bicone for him? I didn't. So we'll grab one out. Okay, so I'm going to put on a bicone. We're going to put this through the front of our leaf. I'm going to give ever so slight amount of room there and then bend him up. A little hook there. So I will come in with my round nose pliers, come right about to where that ball is, right? Kick him back, swivel that wrist, come up and around, Swivel again, come through and do that little kickback. Now we want to put him on our last little link, so I'm opening him up just a tad. I'm going to grab that last link of my chain, and then we will close him up. Then while I'm here, I'm going to hold on to it, and we'll make a wrapped loop. Come on, Amy. Get him around there. Let's come in as close as we can. Come back in where we came from. Move him out of the way just a tad bit. Get right in there and snip him. My precision little pliers here. He's going to be kind of elusive little guy. There he goes. I like him. So bring him up. And now all we are going to do is slide him on. Now the question is, am I going to slide him on correctly? Nope, I'm backwards. I'm always backwards. There he goes. Beautiful. I hope you could see that view. I'm sorry. I was looking at this and I didn't peek at that viewfinder. We're going to just ever so easily pinch him closed. Then we have our little leaf earrings to go with our floating coreana chain and falling leaf necklace. Beautiful. I just love that, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this today. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment. And if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you here. And until we meet back again, right here on this mat, my friends, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.